Hi, welcome to a discussion about how to find a place to live in Berkeley. This is Professor Evan Variano, and I have done several apartment searches for myself and my family, and I've talked to a lot of students about how they've done their apartment searches. Well, we have many different options in Berkeley. We have gigantic houses, we've got tiny houses tucked behind bigger houses. Luckily, all of them have trees or beautiful gardens or both. Many people start by saying that they want to live right near campus. Close to campus is a lot of excitement. On the upper right, you can see the big, ugly dorms that are reserved for undergraduates. Sorry, not for you. On the lower right, there's a collage of buildings that are all owned by an independent student cooperative. Now, these are managed by the students that live and work together and also eat together in the cool, funky spaces filled with reclaimed furniture, an example of which you see in the lower left. The student co-ops and the university dorms both offer contracts by which you can eat there and not live there. So you could still have a cafeteria experience if you want to, or you could chip in and take part of the cooperative food cooking experience in the co-ops without living in the co-ops. The vast majority of students live in independent housing, meaning they don't live in the co-ops and they don't rent space from the university. Now, many of us are used to the expectation that the university will provide us sort of a simple dormitory style place to stay, and that's really not the case in Berkeley. Now, that's one thing to think about when you're comparing Berkeley to other universities. But I'd like to point out that there's a lot of benefits for switching from university-owned housing to housing in any one of many cool neighborhoods that we have around here. So please take a moment and read for yourself some of the benefits that I found for living in independent housing. Living in independent housing allows you to pick your neighborhood. What you might need to think about now is not what neighborhood to live in, but what sort of transportation style fits you best. So if you want to live in the Berkeley Hills, man, you're going to have an amazing view, but you're going to need a car to get around. In fact, the Berkeley Hills is the best place to live if you're really attached to your car, because in a lot of other neighborhoods, there's no easy place to store your car. If you live in the Berkeley Flats like I do, you get to have a really biking, walking, bus-centric life. And it's perfect for that here because the weather is really good and people have these giant overflowing gardens that make the walks and the bike rides and even the bus rides quite pleasant. If you decide to live in a city, you've got Oakland and San Francisco. Both of them claim to be the coolest. I'm not sure which one is. Either case, you're going to be walking around your local neighborhood in the evenings, and when it's time to come to school, you'll be either doing a long bike ride or a bus ride, or most likely you'll be taking the BART, which is our local train transit system. One note about Berkeley and Oakland is that we sometimes talk about these two places as if they define the entire East Bay, but there's lots of other cities nestled in. So what I've said about Berkeley is pretty much exactly the same for the neighboring city of Albany and El Cerrito and Richmond Annex, which are also very pleasant places to live. In all of these East Bay cities, you'll find bicycle boulevards, which are places where city planners have taken certain streets and made it so bicycles can go down them quite easily and cars do not go down them quite easily. Often it's a big concrete flower pot or some other sort of blockade, and the cars know to stay away and the bicycles can go a long distance without much car contact. Alright, let's talk about saving money. You're going to want all the extra money you can for buying all the amazing fresh California produce that's available. And it's hard to save money here because we typically spend a larger fraction of our income on housing than people do in other parts of the world. So a common sense way to save money is to find roommates so that you're splitting the cost of the kitchen and the bathroom, etc. So you can work right now to find other people who are joining the Berkeley community and find a place together. Or you can find people that already have a house and need a new roommate. They'll have to interview you and hopefully you'll pass the audition. Or you can sign up yourself for a house with 3 or 4 bedrooms and then hold interviews where you choose all your roommates. All of these are good possibilities. Try not to rush when choosing a roommate, and try not to rush when choosing a house. If you want to find a house in one day, you will, but you'll be paying 10 to 20% extra. You can go ahead and find a way to take several days, or even find a sublet and spend a month looking for a house once in a while when you feel like it. You'll find a better bargain. Looking for a house can be exhausting, just like looking for a job is. And what you want to do is stay cool, play the long game, stay grounded, go outside once in a while. If you're constantly clicking refresh on a list of houses, you're going to go crazy. You don't have to be the first one to write back to a landlord in order to get the house. They're going to choose a person that seems mellow, that seems reliable, that seems like they've got themselves together. So constantly clicking updates is probably not the way to be that person. I mentioned Craigslist, probably the best place to look for houses. And so sfbay.craigslist.org is their website, and this recent screenshot shows how many houses are available in different places. You'll have to put on some filters, and after you've thinned it out based on roommates and location and style, you'll find a great house for yourself. And again, we need to be ready to pay a little bit more than you might pay in another city. Weigh that when you're comparing Berkeley against other places. So we will be asking the following 4 questions to graduate students from civil and environmental engineering in an independent session. If you want to hear the answers to those questions, please join us. If not, thank you so much for listening to me, and know that there's many different organizations that want to support you. Housing.berkeley.edu will provide a lot of options, especially if you choose the graduate option in their menu. You can also look into International House, which is a neat resource independent from the university that has spent a century supporting people as they do international work. Thanks again for your time, and I hope you have a pleasant house hunting.